this is the call that has been made by every agent that is ever built until now. So this is what every agent or every particular client follows to send the request and get the response back. Welcome back, everyone, to this session. And in this particular session, we are going to discuss about how to make a first call to an LLM API. So most of the people today are using, you can say, ChatGPT, okay, typing chats and then getting the responses and generating the text. But in real life, we have many people who are developing their futures, uh, publishing, launching the products, or you can even say automating the whole life cycle or automating the whole automation workflows, right? So they do not use this way. These are completely different from the real life what we have. So in this particular session, we are going to learn how to make the first call to an LLM API. By the end of this video, you will learn how to make a first call to an LLM API model. Now, to do this, we are going to go ahead with Groq. No cards required, no payments, no subscriptions required out there. It's free and open source model available to us. So let's go ahead and start with it. Very first thing, what you need to have is you need to have your Groq account created. You can just search for Groq API. Search for Groq API. Once you just go with the Groq API, you can just have a look at that. We have API key and Groq Cloud. You just need to go here. I'm already into that particular page, and if you have not created an account, okay, you can create this account. You can just have a look at there. Build and fast. Join 2 million plus developers. All right. So right here, if you have not created the account, you can just go here and just click on continue with Google or just continue with other emails if you want to. I just continue with the Google account here. And once you are here to this particular page, you will be taken to the landing page of this particular Grok website. You can just have a look at there. I have used almost 16.3k tokens from the last 30 days, or you can say almost from last 2 3 days I have been using this Grok. Okay, and we also have many other platforms like this, okay, who provides us free of open source API keys, okay, which we can use it for free of cost, right? So you can just click on API, right? And once you go here, you can just click on create API key. Make sure that okay, you keep your API key in the safer places so that you can use it in wherever you want to, right? So one thing that we'll be doing here is, all right, so I have so so we have the we have the now we have the API key with this, and you also can get this API key from this particular place. Now we have the API key ready with us, and if in your case you also can keep this particular API key ready, just go ahead and click on create API key, and just give a name to it, give an expiration to it, and that gets created, right? And other platform, this is just an information for you, which is very important. Okay, you have something called as Longcat AI. Longcat AI. This platform also provides you free of API keys, okay, without being needed to pay to them. No subscription required, nothing required. You just need to sign up here with a Google account, and you get the API key for you. Right. So this so for the learning process, these are the very good platforms which provide you API key for free of cost. Now, for the time being, we have this thing ready with us. Now we'll go ahead and we will create the first call to an LLM model without uh, any cost, without any subscription required, with just 20 liners of code. So let's begin with that. Right, to go ahead with it, you can either have VS Code with you can either have Jupyter Notebook, you can either also keep a Google Colab. In my case, I'm going to have a Google Colab notebook, which will help me to get ahead out there quicker. So what you can do is you need to have a Google Colab with you. In my case, I do have the Google Colab already been created for you, and this is something very very important. Okay, so very first thing, what you just need to have is, okay, you need to you need to install Groq library. So very first thing, what you need to have is the Groq library installed, right? You can just have a look at the import sub process, and you can just like install Groq, right? And once this Groq has been installed, let me just go ahead and run this one. I have this Groq been installed, and you can just have a look at the Groq is installed, because we are going to use Groq as an API key, or Groq has you can say the model, right? Groq has a server where the models have been deployed. We are going to use that particular part now. Now, second thing, you need to have your API key being defined here. In my case, you can just have a look at the I'm inputting OS here, because on the OS I'm going to set the environment as my API key. So this is my API key, and the reason why this has been shown is because this is a sample API key. I can delete that by clicking one quickly. So in your case, one thing I would recommend you, do not share API keys never to anyone, right? It could be in any case, if it is paid one. If it is free one, you can just go ahead, no worries, right? Now you can see here, I have set my environment as Groq API key, and I'm passing this API key to this one. Now once I run this, the Groq API key has been set. Now, very first, the third thing that we require is the step three. It is to create a client. Now, how do you create a client? What is this client now? Let's discuss this and understand what does this client do. Now, client is something which helps you to connect to the server. Let us say my Groq models, what we have, right? We are going to use Llama 3.370 billion versatile model, which is 70 billion parameter, which is good enough, bigger than many other models out there. So we are going to use model which is running on the Groq server. So to connect to that server, we need a client. So we have a client here called as Groq, and with the help of this, I am going to connect to it by passing the API key. API key is something which defines that you are an authenticated user. You are a user who has an access to it. Okay. All right. Now I have defined this one. Let me just go ahead and run this. Now you can see here we have the output called as client ready model Llama 3.37 billion versatile is ready now. Now we will go ahead and perform and run the first command, okay, where we are going to call LLM model via API and get the response back. You can just have a look at here. We have this something called as response, right? This is a variable in which we are keeping everything ready out there. Now, what is this? This is nothing but the client that we are telling to create one request. So, whom are we telling to create the request? Now, you can see this request, this create command that we have. Once you hover into it, okay, it has a requirement. See, just mentioned below, it has a requirement of model. You can just see there model str that we have there, and messages we need to pass the messages and so on. So I am defining the model here as my model. What is this model here? This model is a model that has been defined here. And max token is 512. I'm just setting a limit that I can use max 12, 512k, 512 tokens for per request. Okay, so it should not go more than that one out there. Now, what is token? What how it has been calculated and how everything has been done, how pricings have been set, how API how API can provide us calculate the tokens. I'll discuss all of these things into the next video on tokens specifically. Now we have temperature here. What is this temperature? This temperature is all about, okay, setting up the creativity that you want for your answer. Now, always remember, zero is default. Means it we want an original output that LLM gives us. If I make 0. 0.2, that is nothing but 0.20%, 20% creativity. That would be okay, fine. But you, whenever if you set like one or if you set like 0. 0.8 and so on, what happens is it performs a lot of creativity. Now, this is not good for you can say in many of the certain places, because when you give more of creativity, it might forget the you can say context. It might go out of the context out there, and we are giving the message here. The message is the role, okay, and in message we are passing the role as user, and we are passing the content. This is the user input that we are passing. Now, what is this particular client that we have here? Now, what is this particular part that we are getting response for? Now, this is a format, okay, or this is a call that has been made by every agent that is ever built until now. So this is what every agent or every particular client follows to send the request and get the response back. Right. So in our case, we have one a single role as a user, but there are a lot of other you can say ways, like you can say user prompts, then we have system prompt, then we have other role based agent, and so on so on. I'll be discussing that in my other videos about role based agent and other things. But in our case, it's a simple request on LLM that we are going to discuss. I have defined here role equals user and content equals what are the top three skills and operation needs in 2026. So as we are making a first request to the LLM model and it's executing this one, you can see here it's been executed. Now we will just go ahead and look at the response. So when I run this again, you can see here I get the response back. So now we have some response. You can just see here, this is really something a response that we are getting from the model. So this is our first response that we just got from a model. Now you can just go ahead and just in this question, you can say what are the top three sports, right? Sports in sports sports in 2026. I just go ahead and run this one, and you get the complete response in this particular response variable. I'm just going to print that one here. You can just see here we have uh, the AI response. Since my knowledge of cutoff is to 2023, I don't have real-time information. Soccer, cricket, basketball. As per the LLM information, we have the output. So you have created your first a simple call to an LLM AI model. Okay, so this is how every agent that is ever built until now follows the same process to make an API call. Every company, every product that has AI integrated in that one follows this particular process. So stay tuned for the next videos that will be uh, coming soon on my channel. It will be all about the detailed information about different types of agent that we create, different types of prompts that we have here or there, right, while sending the API responses. And in the next video, I'm going to discuss all about tokens and what tokens is and how do you calculate tokens, and we'll see that in a live picture. Until then, take care.